What's up, Internet? How's it going? We went to the beach today because we have lives. You need to get out more, Internet. We're worried about you. I'm Adam.
I'm Jessica, and I recommend that you stay inside or you could get a really awesome sunburn.
Yes. Anyway, today on our screen we are watching A Few Good Men.
Yep.
It's everything that is awesome about the early 90s. It's got...
That's quite a statement.
Seriously, it's everything that's awesome about the early 90s. It's got Tom Cruise in it, Jack Nicholson's in it, Demi Moore's in it, Kevin Bacon is in it. It's written by Aaron Sorkin. It's... I think it's one of the best courtroom drama style movies out there.
I have heard very good things about it, although the most anyone can ever tell me is, what is it? I think it's You're Out of Order. No, You Can't Handle the Truth. That's this one.
Yes.
This one is You Can't Handle the Truth. But I know on Rotten Tomatoes it's got an 81%, and IMDb has it as a 7.7.
Yep. So basically the story is pretty simple. It takes place... Well, it doesn't take place, but it starts out at Guantanamo Bay, Gitmo, and there's a murder on base, and then the Naval Investigative Team, the JAG Corps, whatever it is, basically Kevin Bacon and Tom Cruise have to decide, why this Marine was murdered, was he ordered to be murdered, by whom, and so this whole case unravels in a courtroom drama kind of deal, investigation kind of thing, and it's really good. It's been a while since I've seen this movie, not since I was much younger, so that's about all I remember of the synopsis. But you're right, it is the You Can't Handle the Truth movie.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
That's all anyone knows about it is You Can't Handle the Truth. I honestly can't remember if I've seen this movie or not, or if I'm just so familiar with You Can't Handle the Truth that I think I've seen it.
But honestly, and I know this is a bit of a bias before you even start watching it, that's one of, I think, the better monologues I've ever heard in film, is Jack Nicholson's monologue.
Those are two hefty claims. Best of the 90s and best monologue. Man.
I said this movie represents everything that was the best of the early 90s. I didn't say it was the best film of the 90s.
I know, but still, those are two major claims for this movie.
But Jack Nicholson's a great actor. And he delivers an amazing performance in this movie.
Jack Nicholson is terrifying. I've seen The Shining.
That's true.
I know what's up.
He is pretty terrifying. All right, well, we're going to get started watching this, and then we'll come back and give you our reviews and our opinions that we haven't already given you, that this is an amazing movie.
So he says. Oh, you're going to press play now? All right. Okay.
So, what did you think?
Surprisingly, you did not oversell it.
Yeah. Okay. So you agreed that this was best of the early 90s kind of movie.
It really, it is a good movie, yeah. Pitting Jack Nicholson against Tom Cruise worked really well. They've both got huge presence on screen, yeah. So it didn't feel like either one was overshadowing the other. They played well off of each other. It was very...
It sort of felt like a clash of titans.
Yeah, it was just... I don't know. It was very good. It was very compelling to watch.
Corporal will take you by personnel on your way out to the flight line, and you can have all the transfer orders that you want. But you have to ask me nicely.
I beg your pardon?
You have to ask me nicely. You see, Danny, I can deal with the bullets and the bombs and the blood. I don't want money, and I don't want medals. What I do want is for you to stand there in that white uniform and with your Harvard mouth extend me some courtesy. You gotta ask me nicely.
Colonel Jessup, if it's not too much trouble, I'd like a copy of the transfer order. Sir.
No problem.
It was. Well, I don't know if compelling is right, because
their
I know that it was...
performances.
Of their performances, yes. As the movie overall, I know that it was adapted from a play. A screen... No. Was it a screenplay?
Alright, a play.
The screenplay was written based on, like, a theater play. I don't know what you call that. A play.
Script.
Sure, whatever. It's based off of something, you know, like you'd see in the theater. And at times it felt like a theatrical play. Because it was very dramatic. There were some really slow, drawn out parts that could have easily been cut to speed the movie up a bit. And maybe it's just because, like, looking back on something that's, you know, more than 20 years old, you're just like, oh my god,
weird.
it's so boring.
See, and I didn't find parts of it boring because, and maybe it's just because of how familiar I am with the Aaron Sorkin rhythm. Things tend to be a little on the slow side. You get that person's interest, oh, what is this? And it slowly unravels, and then it builds to that big ending. It happens in a lot of his shows. Think of, like, the first episode of The West Wing, for example. It's really, it's kind of got, like, a slow build to it. You're like, all right, well, this is kind of neat, whatever.
And then all of a sudden,
like,
President
boom.
Bartlett is God.
Yeah, like, it's, and this has that same kind of motion. It's, again, with, like, or on a smaller scale, the first episode of, what is it? The Newsroom. Like, there's that bit of a slow build up to that giant speech about why America isn't great.
No, that happened right at the beginning.
Yeah, it happened right at the beginning, but that scene, like, it was kind of like he compacted what usually happens in an episode into one scene and built that way. But a lot of his scenes or his shows or an episode built that way.
Yeah, I guess.
And this did too, and there were some of the exchanges in there that were like, other than some of the military and lawyer speak, you could transfer to just about any of his shows.
Yeah, I guess. Well, the movie was a little bit long. I think it's like 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
It's something like that, yeah.
So, you know, at times it was just like, okay, we don't really need this scene here. You can get rid of it, Aaron. Aaron, looking at you. Yeah, don't give me that look.
I will give you whatever look I feel like giving you.
So, easily could have been shorter, but at the same time, like, I don't know, I felt like I said, it's been a while since I've seen this movie. I saw it as a much younger child. It felt like it had all of the great components to be like a really amazing film. You had some amazing actors, a great writer, a decent story, and it kind of fell short in my eyes. Like I just,
really?
Yeah, I did not enjoy it as much as I remember, because honestly, like you said in the beginning, there's only that one scene that anybody ever remembers, and it's the scene with Jack Nicholson. That is the big scene.
But without all of those other smaller scenes leading up to it, it wouldn't have that same feel. It wouldn't be as great. You need all of that other stuff that leads up to this, and watching Tom Cruise's character change and develop from like a guy that's just going to take the easy way out to I'm going to confront this colonel on the stand. I mean, it's all part of that. And removing, and yeah, there are some scenes that you might have been able to cut a little shorter or whatever, but it all leads up to that.
Maybe, but I mean, that's just my opinion, is that it seemed like the movie had all the great makings, you know, for something really awesome, and it still just kind of fell short. I would say that unless you're a huge fan of any of these actors or Aaron Sorkin, I don't think I've ever met anyone who's a Rob Reiner fan, but the director.
Yeah.
But, you know, or even just military movies in general, I'd say you could probably skip this one. I mean, you could find that one scene that everybody wants to watch on YouTube and watch it for free, and, you know,
And I just don't think it would have the same impact. Because, like, I've seen that scene before, or at least parts of it, and it doesn't have the same impact as when you watch it as part of the whole.
Even watching it as a whole, like, because I did watch that scene earlier this week in preparation for the movie, and I was like, that's a really great monologue. And then even now, it's just sort of like, and maybe it's just because I've seen it already this week, but, you know, I watched it and I was like, meh.
Yeah.
I didn't, I don't know, it kind of fell short for me. I didn't like it as much as I remember I did.
Okay. And maybe, like, seeing it for the first time, it was better. So I'd say it's worth seeing at least once, just for that. And something that needs to be mentioned is that the smaller character roles, like, they held their own against big screen presences. I mean, like, they did what they were supposed to. Like, they didn't feel particularly overshadowed any more than, like, their character would have been by these characters. It wasn't unevenly acted, I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
Maybe that guy who played, well, I don't know. I guess I can't really argue that. That's a good point. It was a pretty balanced movie in terms of acting prowess, but
yeah, and I mean, but again, I mean, it was just like even the smaller characters, like their characters would have been overshadowed by characters like Tom Cruise's and Jack Nicholson's, so that felt natural. It didn't feel like we spent all of our money on these two guys and everyone else doesn't matter.
But I think that's partially, you know, due to Aaron Sorkin's writing and the fact that he gives those minor characters, like, they're the comic relief. So, like, theirs are the lines you remember even after you come out of the movie. Like, the guy who played Lieutenant Weinberg, who's the, like, the junior counsel, like, next to Tom Cruise.
Like, he plays a small character. I recognize him from stuff, but I can't remember what. But he does tend to play, like, smaller.
Yeah, but, like, right in the beginning of the movie, he's assigned to be, like, Tom Cruise's number 2, and he makes a joke in the briefing room about how, like, he basically has no responsibilities or something.
I have no responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, 2 minutes later, he introduces himself as, like, I'm the number 2, I have no responsibilities. And it's funny.
It is, and it's also an example of fairly typical Sorkin writing.
Yeah, I think that's just something that he does well.
Yes.
So unless you're, like I said, unless you're a huge Aaron Sorkin fan or a huge fan of Jack Nicholson or Tom Cruise or Demi Moore or Kevin Bacon, you can skip it. This movie's, I didn't think it was that great.
Okay. I think if you're a fan of 90s cinema, I'd watch it for that. Well, just because, like you said, it is a lot of the best of the 90s, and then you just rattled off a whole series of what was great about the 90s.
Yeah, like, if you really like the 90s that much, then yeah, but in terms of, you know, broad spectrum, you know, big picture stuff, I don't think this movie really stands the test of time. It's not, you know, it's not going to go down as, like, one of the best movies ever.
That's true.
It's probably worth watching once, but by and large, you could probably also skip it and, you know, lead a great life.
That's true.
As long as you stay out of the sun. My God, were we wrong? We were wrong about getting outside. Just stay inside, internet.
Stay inside and watch all of our videos. Like, subscribe, share, but don't go outside. We wore sunscreen, and it's still this bad.
The sun is a deadly laser.
Alright, well, that's it from us, internet. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.